Selamlar herkese. Twitch'in kanalına hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Bugün sizlerle beraber tekrar ve yeniden Tangle Tower oynuyoruz. Çok heyecanlı yerlerde bırakmıştık bilirsiniz ki. Aynı zamanda tabii ki de Twitch chatindeyiz, canlı yayındayız. Siz de aşağıdaki linklerden diğer sosyal medya mecralarıma gelebilirsiniz. Evet bakalım bugün oyun bitecek mi? Yoksa daha her şeyin başında mıyız? Yarım kalan iş. Evet, kimle konuşmamız gerekiyormuş? Flora'nın kulesinden melodi sesi duymuyoruz bu arada ya. Bir daha bir gidip bakalım ama yani ben duyamadım o melodiyi. O son sesi duyamıyoruz gibi geliyor bana sanki. Buna hiçbir şekilde konuşamıyor muyuz? Hiçbir şekilde cevap alamayacağız galiba, değil mi? Bence de bu arada. Acaba birinde bir şey diyecek mi? Yani sesi nereden duyacağız odada? Asla cevap vermiyor.
We spoke to Hawkshaw. I assume she didn't get anything out of you either. I bet that really ticked her off.
Were you close with Freya?
Hepsini tek tek soracağım.
Did you kill Freya?
Grimoire.
What? I don't even think she's listening.
Haklı. Ses iyi mi bu arada oyunun sesi?
Do you and Fitz have anything to do with each other? Other than your initials. You know the guy in the other tower? Weird astronomy professor guy?
Bir tık arttıralım mı? Okay.
Can you see him from your window? Can he see you?
İyidir diye düşünüyorum.
What do you know about Penny?
I can't really imagine those two being friends, to be honest.
You never know. Do you and Poppy get along?
Nothing. Shocker.
Yok hiçbir şekilde hiçbir şeyden cevap alamıyoruz.
Oh no, I gave up making notes ages ago. Now I'm just doodling in the margins.
Yani müzik sesini nereden duyabiliriz burada? Biraz daha zamanı var herhalde. Anlamadım. Normalde zamanı olmadan çıkmıyor ama anlam veremedim yani.
Penelope seems to have really settled into a groove. She struggled a bit when she was younger, always a little estranged.
How come?
Well, she was mostly raised by her uncle, and he really only makes time for his own daughter. Now, of course, she's bringing the two families together through her marriage. It's a nice gesture, heartfelt, but futile. Dearest Flora, a remarkable woman.
Neden hiç konuşmadığına dair bize bilgi vermek ister mi acaba?
You two still get on?
Of course. What a
Nasıl bir sinir bu ya?
She hasn't gone quiet on you.
It's true she has an independent streak.
Hep böyle miydi yani?
She's the youngest of three. Always something of a lone wolf, you know? Just the way she is.
Lone wolf is putting it lightly. She doesn't seem to want to talk to anyone.
She just likes time to herself, away from the company of other humans.
Other humans?
Well, yes, other people, you know. You're the one currently basking in his presence.
Herkes kendini çok farklı tanıtıyor ya.
Let's move on.
My daughter Fiona, our little burgeoning genius.
Tanıştık evet, o da bir değişik konuşuyor sürekli.
Fifi these days.
So I've heard. I asked her some weeks ago, what's wrong with your real name? She told me, get this, she wanted a name with an even number of syllables. She makes up the strangest things when she's under pressure.
What makes you think she made that up?
I happen to know the real reason
Neymiş
she prefers
gerçek sebebi?
speaking over Fiona.
Oh, yeah?
It's what Freya called her.
Bu yüzden mi seçmiş? Ama hayranlık duyuyor olayını zaten biliyorduk sanki, değil mi?
Quite the character, eh? A fellow member of the Order of the Crimson Cloak.
Is that a real thing?
No, I just meant because we both wear, you know, red capes of a sort.
Has she questioned you yet?
If you call that questioning, she seemed bored by everything I had to say. I heard.
Tamamdır Pap, ne yiyeceksin?
Supposedly, Hawkshaw is searching for some rare item, something called the Golden Beetle. Honestly, it's probably a bunch of.
Söylese başta sorsak da öğreniyormuşuz yani ne
You reckon?
aradığını.
Quite sure. There is no treasure called the Golden Beetle.
How do you know?
Because I would have heard of it.
Sebep? Niye bilesin ki?
Uncommonly skilled as an artist, but Freya was so much more than her talent. She helped me get started with my own painting, you know. It taught me what she knew about wood carving, too. Tremendous patience. She was ever so good with dear Flora.
Freya and Flora were close?
Oh, yes, especially recently.
Ne
How are
oldu
you
ki?
related to Freya?
Somewhat distantly, as it happens, my father, Lord Fellow, was her grandfather. Technically,
Akrabalık ne
that makes her
gerçekten
a
acaba?
fellow. Let's just say there was some discussion over whether she ought to carry the name at all.
Bakalım
There's a
bir
family
aile
tree in the
tablosundan.
grand
Evet.
hall. You should take a look at it.
What about her inheritance?
Freya's parents died when she was around 3 years old. She came to live here shortly afterwards.
Nobody left her a thing?
I'm afraid not. She had no formal claim over anything in Tangle
Allah
Tower.
Allah. Gerekli insanla ilgili soruyu sormamışız daha. Öyle olsa şey çıkıyor.
Fitz? I don't trust him.
Neden?
He's slippery. Never commits to anything. Brain like an onion.
An onion?
Allah
Did you
Allah.
two have an argument?
No, but my daughter doesn't like him at all. And I trust Fiona's judgment entirely. She's a very vigilant young woman. Percival Pointer.
Percival'mış
Good
adam.
old- So, what do you reckon? Is he the murderer?
I don't know.
Allah
maybe.
Allah. Bu
We still
kadar
got-
da
That is
hemen
not information we're
suçlamak.
willing to share at this time.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on him. Holds on to a lot of bitterness, does old Pointer. Just because he's always struggled to support his family. Slightly pathetic, really.
And how long have you known him?
Over 35 years.
Childhood friends? Rivals?
Don't know if I'd do him the honor of considering him my rival. Poppy's a good friend to my daughter. Always has been. I think they get on well because they're so different.
Different, like how?
Poppy is, she's quite introspective, good with feelings. Fiona, not so much. Still, Poppy always seems to be sulking about something.
The heavy, heavy price of emotional
Allah
intelligence.
Allah. Ne soracağız o zaman? Gereksiz konuş demiyor mu? Bunları sorduk. Burada her şeyi sorduk. Ha, seni
That looks like it
sormamışız.
might belong to Fitz.
Allah Allah. Dur şuna bir bakayım gidip. Neymiş ne değilmiş.
What is
I think it's a family tree.
Freya. Felicia ile Damian'ın. Felicia. Okey. Fifi ile konuşmaktan gına geldi zaten. Yani o kadar çok konuşuyoruz ki gel buraya.
Name, Poppy Pointer. Age, 19. Profession, oh. Apparently Poppy has defaced my notes. Under profession, I had of course originally written pianist, but she has crossed that out and written The ghost of Christmas yet to come.
Çok tatlı ya. Bobby çok tatlı gerçekten.
Name, Percival Pointer. Age, 57.
Yok mu?
Profession, none.
I'm pretty sure he's an astronomer.
Oh yes, of course. How uncharacteristically forgetful of me.
Bir gerginlik sezdim.
Penelope Pointer. Age, 27.
Güzel bak, güzel bir karakter
ornithologist.
yapmışlar. Her bilgiyi ediniyoruz.
Birds. Dislikes, insects. Notes. Penelope is very beautiful. I have never had very much in common with her.
Sen de çok güzelsin.
Name, Freya Fellow. Age, 19. Profession, artist. Deceased.
Notları güncelliyor musun hemen?
Most people find me difficult. They exhibit a noticeable degree of discomfort when talking to me.
Gözleri çok komik ya.
There it is. Freya, who had a way of being an exception to any given rule, was not at all like this. She is very important, and I will not rest until I understand what has happened to her.
Did you
Ya bizim
spend
de
a lot
emin ol,
of time with
bizim de
Freya
içimiz rahat etmiyor yani.
recently?
Günlerdir bu oyunu oynuyoruz.
I will say this. In the past year, Freya became, one, increasingly independent, and two, increasingly isolated.
Yaşlar tam o yaşlar ama
I
yani.
do not. If you are looking for a speculative, empathetic opinion, try asking Poppy instead.
The three of you are friends.
We are of a similar age, and all highly gifted. One scientist, one artist, and one musician.
Sounds like quite a team.
Name, Flora Fellow. Age, 44.
Mesleği nasıl bilinmiyor ya?
Likes, unknown.
Nasıl ya?
Dislikes, unknown.
Aa,
Isn't
çok
she your
acayip.
mother? How do you not know anything?
I believe other people may have discovered methods of reaching her, but I have little capacity for interpreting nonverbal communication.
And how long has Flora been...
Tamam da sonuçta hani ne
non-verbal?
zamandır
She's
konuşmuyor?
always
Doğduğundan
been
beri
quiet,
mi?
willing to speak when necessary, but not more.
So what happened to make her stop talking entirely?
She suffered a great loss, something she has been unable to move beyond.
Kim ama kim
Name,
kim?
Haksha. Age, unknown. Profession, private detective.
Çok iyi bu karakter ya. Böyle her bütün bilgileri
Being
veriyor.
left alone. Dislikes, quote, being constantly badgered by a weirdo nerd with a clip.
Çok iyi ya.
Name, Felix Fellow. Age, 53. Profession, none. Likes, collecting objects of negligible monetary value and assigning them
Çok güzel.
personal value. Dislikes, the inescapable realities of human existence. Notes, Felix is my father and legal guardian.
And, is he a good dad?
I have no point of comparison, but I would say no.
No? Why not?
You asked me a binary question. Do not get upset that I provided one of the two possible answers.
What makes him a bad father, Fifi?
He has trouble expressing his emotions, and something of a willful
Oh.
detachment from reality.
Huh. Just like you, then.
No, he is quite correct.
Buradan başka sorduğumuz biri kalmadı. Şunlardan hala Fifi diyor mu peki? Hala da Fifi diyor inatla. Okey o zaman Fifi.
I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell...
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene.
Apart from
şey
the one in the
diyeceğim.
painting.
Acaba Fitz'in o spatulamsı küreği mi saplanan şey? Ama kanman bulmadık üstünde. Ama saklanmış, temizleyip saklamış olabilir mi?
Which, as a mere abstract representation, does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife.
Acaba?
The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I
Olabilir.
know is that it must have happened sometime in the last
Ha,
2 days.
yakın zamanda olmuş.
That blade.
It's a troll for gardening.
It is.
Hala sormamız gereken başka bir şey var galiba. Neyi sormalıyız sizce? Chat hangisinden istenilen bilgiyi alabileceğimizi düşünüyorsunuz? Boynuz heykelinden bir şey çıkabilir
Why
aslında.
did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be? An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some
Evet,
special significance
küreyi bıçak
to her.
olarak gördü. O yüzden
that?
olabilir.
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
Kaçırdım
You
orada ne
two
dediğin
are
chat'e
friends, right?
bakarken.
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired
Aa,
of my
hayır
company.
sıkılmamıştır
is it
deme
anything to do with
öyle.
Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere. Freya is normally highly skilled at capturing someone's likeness, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested in what Flora is holding. I performed the test on the red paint myself. I discovered that it was in fact not paint, but blood.
Evet yani
What
o da
made
bir
you want to
garip.
test it in the first place?
It was Poppy. She told me she thought the painting looked like a bloody knife. I told her not to be ridiculous. My mother owns no such knife. But then I noticed that the color was slightly too dark, and the substance itself was overly viscous.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course.
Yani boyayla kan da ayırt edilebilir ama sanki ya. Hala mı sormamız gereken bir şey var? Aa.
I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
En çok konuşan da Fifi farkındaysanız yani.
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
Bak bunda hep böyle yapıyor.
She laughing?
Neden gülüyor bu çatlak
The fruit here has
kaset
a
olayına?
unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless, unless you wish to cut it down and sell it
İlk
as a
gösterdiğimde
precious
de böyle
stone.
yapmıştı.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your teeth. That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs.
Evet
There
her
are a
yerde
number
yumurta
of
var.
egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the grand hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs.
Böyle bir bahane yok. Ben
The
de
red
severim
paint on the
yumurtayı ama
brush
yani evimin
is
her
not
yerine
paint. It is blood. Same for the
yumurta
palette.
şeyi koymuyorum.
So Freya added the blood to the painting herself?
Or blood got on the brush and palette some other way?
Bu şeyle mi öldürüldü yoksa? Nasıl yani?
Do not know the answer. What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Unique
Must be worth a
architecture
fortune.
gerçekten.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
Aa,
That's quite an inheritance.
sağlam miras
They
gerçekten.
can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her.
Aa, annesi
Do you
mi?
know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time.
O neden buradaydı?
It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya?
Bizim de kafamızı çok
Fifi, did you
karıştırıyorsun
test
ama
the red
ya.
paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A
Aa,
whole pot full of blood?
boya
Not a
değilmiş
whole pot.
hiçbir
It
kırmızı
is only
şey.
partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring.
Çok
I
acayip.
am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh,
It is a flower. It reminds me of something. but I cannot
Ne
say
ki
what.
acaba?
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues. What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
Allah
These
Allah.
weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands. A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red
De
paint.
çünkü.
There's something about Felix's painting supplies.
Boya malzemesiymiş yani konu gerçekten.
Something suspicious.
Felix şimdi
Let's
şüpheli,
ask him
evet.
about it.
Zaten şüphelilerden biri yani şu an
There's
için.
something about the image of Flora in the painting. Something suspicious.
Let's ask her about it.
Dur daha... Dur şimdi değil. Yeah, şüphe.
About this paint we found in your room.
Nothing suspicious about it. I used it to paint, obviously. Totally normal thing to do.
We never said it was suspicious.
Come on then, out with it. What exactly are
Sakin
you
ol bir
accusing me
önce.
of?
Ne diyelim? Üstündeki kapak yanlış mı diyelim? Boya kutusu senin değil mi diyelim? Doğru renk değil mi diyelim? Üstündeki kapak dediği galiba şeyi bu arada. Ambalaj kısmındaki o renk. Yani doğru renk değil demektense kapak yanlış ya da boya kutusu senin değil de denebilir. Üstündeki kapak yanlış daha mantıklı ama sanki.
It has the wrong lid on.
You sure about that?
Not entirely.
Come on then, out with it. What
Değilmiş.
exactly are you accusing me of?
It's not your paint pot. Did you take it from somewhere else?
What on earth? It's definitely mine. I even have proof. Look, the lid matches the ones on all my other paint pots. End of discussion.
That's
Kırmızı
not
yok
the end of
ama.
the discussion.
We need a clue to compare with Felix's red paint. Something to prove who it actually belongs
Hemen gösterelim. Hemen.
to. Let's take a closer look at this.
Seve seve.
Freya's red paint pot is exactly the same
Sembolleri mi
as
göstereyim?
Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Almost. Maybe just change one. Freya's red paint pot is exactly the same as Felix's red paint pot, but the lids were swapped to hide it. Almost. Maybe just change one thing.
Ya şimdi
Freya's red paint pot was stolen and replaced with Felix's red paint pot,
Okay.
but the lids were swapped to hide it.
That red paint is from Freya's supplies, not yours. Swapping the lids doesn't hide what you did.
Why are you bothering me about paint anyway? And none of this is connected to your murder.
bir şekilde alakalı ama belli ki yani. Felix'in Freya'nın boyasını çalmasının cinayetle ne ilgisi var? Kırmızı boya kutusunu yok etmek için kullanılan. Kırmızı boya kutusunda kan var. İçinde hiç kan olmayan Reyonu Florya'yı çizmek için kullanmadan önce bu kırmızı boya kutusu bir şekilde şununla doluydu, kan.
This red paint pot was somehow filled with blood before Freya used it to paint Flora.
Oh, that's definitely
Evet, önemli bir şey çünkü.
right. Fine.
Hadi
Here's the
anlat
story.
bakalım, çok merak
I was
ettim.
busy working on a project when I suddenly realized I had run out of red paint. There was a certain amount of time pressure, so I politely asked Freya if I could borrow hers. Just for a little while, you know. Perfectly reasonable request.
Karşı tarafta
She
hayatta
said no.
olmayınca
I
tabii
tried to explain why I needed it.
her
but
şeyi
she didn't
sallayabiliyorlar
seem
ya.
to care.
Sırf boya için
So,
öldürmüşse yani.
Well, I took Freya's red paint pot and swapped it with my own empty one.
You went into her room?
Not my proudest moment, but it's just paint.
Bilemeyiz
I didn't
ama
touch
biz bunu
anything
işte.
else.
And the paint pot you left behind was definitely empty?
Quite. I have absolutely no idea how
Ama
it got
şüphelisin,
bloody.
yalan söylüyorsun.
If
İşte biz
that's
sana
what you're
nasıl
asking.
güvenelim ya?
Why were you in such a hurry to get a hold of red paint anyway?
I was trying to finish this in time for Flora's birthday. I needed red to paint the final details.
Could you not have just used a different color?
Out of the question. It had to be red and white.
If you managed to finish it, why haven't you given it to Flora yet?
Well, I decided against it in the end.
Tam da bugün mü
After what
oldu yani?
happened,
Dün mü oldu bu olay ya
seemed a
da?
bit insensitive.
Şimdi Flora'ya bir şüphe şey yapacağız. Hadi bakalım.
So,
Şüphe.
this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room. So what's going on?
O bir bıçak değil bizim düşüncemiz, değil mi chat? Ben öyle düşünmeyi tercih ediyorum en azından. O yüzden o şekilde söylemenin daha sağlıklı olacağını düşünüyorum biraz. Eğer sizin düşünceleriniz aynı şekilde ise.
It's not a knife.
Bakışları çok
We
iyi
need a
ya.
clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is.
Deneyelim mi bunu?
That kinda makes sense.
Değilmiş.
That kinda makes sense.
Değilmiş.
That's not it.
Resmedilen portrede bıçağa benzer nesneyi açıklayan bir şey. Şöyle mi yapacağız?
That's not it.
Let's take a closer look at this.
Bundan ötürü değil mi? Doğru, tamam, unuttum ben onu. Aslında resmedilmiş bıçak sadece mürekkep kuşunun bir tüyü. İşte bu ya, işte bu. Çok iyiyiz. Çok iyiyiz. Ne yapacağız böyle, ama bir
It's
konuş.
definitely the right shape, but the
Evet.
book's not in color. The thing Flora's holding in the painting is red and white specifically. Is there
Bak,
anything to
specifically
suggest
red
that
and
the
white
ink dip bird
farkında
is red and
mısın?
white too?
Demin ne dedi Felix? Kırmızı ve beyaz olmak zorunda. Hayır, diğeri.
This little thing? I
Evet.
don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
Tüydür, evet demiştik. Felix. Aa. Mürekkep kuşu. Bir kayıp yaşadı dediği olay. Freya yüzünden mi oldu?
The ink dip bird was Flora's pet, so she
Yoksa
kept a single feather as evidence of a crime. Almost. Maybe just. The ink dip bird was
çok iyi,
Flora's
çok
pet,
iyi,
so
çok
she
iyi.
kept a single feather to remember it by.
she kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Belki de
Flora
Penny
spends all her time
çalmıştır.
staring out the window.
Onu
By the way,
bekliyor.
she kept the feather. I think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her.
Aa,
But where is
çok
it now?
iyi.
You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah,
Nasıl
I think she
saklamıştır belki?
does. Normally. This
Ya da
is where
fotoğrafta
Flora usually
yapıştırdı mı
keeps her
acaba?
feather.
Fotoğraftaki o mu?
That's not right.
Ne dedi? Flora'nın genelde... Ha, boş yumurta.
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm.
Evet.
Completely empty. Flora?
Konuşacak
She's
mı
pointing
yoksa?
at something in the corner of the room.
Bir şey işaret
It's just a
ediyor.
pile of books. They're not.
Aa.
Wait. There's something tucked inside this one.
Yoksa... Flora'nın çizimleri, Flora ve küçük bir kuşun çizimleri. Arkasına elle yazılmış bir not var. Bunlar senin için. Sevgiler Freya. Aa, Freya çizmiş bir de.
Let's go over what we know about the crime scene.
Hemen koş incele. Koş hemen, acil.
We know a little more about the crime scene now. So, what do you think? Was Freya stabbed by her own painting?
Freya saplanan şey bir bıçak mıydı? Neden tabloda kan var? Boya kutusundaki kan. Kanla bir bıçağı andırması için gerçek bu
Blood from
mu?
the paint
Değil.
pot was used to paint the red tip of a real knife, so it could stab
Tam
Freya.
tersi.
Nope.
Tam tersi mi?
A real knife
Yok.
was used to paint
Ya
the red
İngilizceden
tip of
Türkçe'ye
blood from the
düşünmeye
paint
çalışıyorum
pot,
da.
so it could stab Freya. That's not right.
Tamam dur bakacağız şimdi.
Paint from the paint pot was replaced by blood from the paint pot, so it could stab Freya. That's not right either. Paint from the paint pot was replaced by blood from the paint pot to
Resmedilmiş
hide the
mürekkep
evidence.
şu
That's not right
tüyü.
either. The painted ink dip feather was replaced by blood from the paint pot to hide the evidence. That's not right either.
Tamam da nasıl değiştireyim işte? Emir vererek lütfen konuşma benimle. Gizlemek için. Saklamak için. Diğerleri? Kanıtı saklamak için mi?
The painted ink dip feather was used to hide a real knife, to hide the evidence. That's not right either. The painted ink dip feather was used to hide a real knife, so it could stab Freya. That's not right either.
Atarım Selim yayından sonra. Tam olur mu? Hatırlatırsam.
Blood from the paint pot was used to hide the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife. Almost. Maybe just change one thing. A real knife was used to hide the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife. That's not right either. Blood from the paint pot.
İlk yazıda kanlı bıçağı
The painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody
ne
knife.
yapması için yazıyor?
Almost. Maybe just change. Blood from
Kanlı
the
bıçağı
paint pot
andırması için,
was
okey.
used to paint the red tip of the painted ink dip feather to resemble a bloody knife.
I think you're right. Can't decide if I'm disappointed or relieved.
I have a question. Why?
Either it's
Evet.
a very strange coincidence, or
Vay
somebody set
yani.
it up.
Somebody deliberately put blood in the paint pot and hid that feather after the crime. Why? To distract us?
Possibly.
Well, it worked.
Possibly.
Flora's the only person who could have hidden the feather. Unless
Selim sen
someone took it
oynayacaksan
from her.
oyna ya. Ben gerekli yok yani. Şey olarak. Düşünmen yeter gerçekten. Fazla kendimi kandırıyorum. Sorun değil, sorun değil. Ya, genel olarak çok hoşuma giden bir şey hitap şekli olmuyor genelde de ondan kaynaklı.
Let's go over what we do know. The door was locked the whole time.
Tamam.
It stayed locked until Fitz
Evet.
kicked it down. Normally, it can only be opened from the inside. Pointer said he couldn't see Freya from his telescope, but he did see Flora lying by the window.
So whatever got Freya got Flora too?
Except
Yani.
Flora survived. She didn't get a stab wound like Freya
Evet.
did.
Hold on. If there was no knife, then what did stab Freya?
Alırım o zaman canım zaten. Hiç sorun değil. Gerçekten çok teşekkür ederim. Güzel bir oyunsa denerim yani.
It could be anything. It might not even be important.
How is it not important?
Right now, I'm less interested in the what and more interested in the
Nasıl,
how.
neden, niçin, ne alaka?
The angle
Fitz'in
of
küreği
Freya's
yüksek
wounds suggests she
ihtimalle
was stabbed
ya.
at a perfect right angle.
Evet,
That
tam
is,
dik
from
bakıyor.
directly in front of her. But she was standing right up by the canvas.
Somehow, Freya ended up lying on her back, still perfectly in line with the painting.
Evet.
Maybe something went through it.
Through the painting? Wouldn't that leave a hole?
Şu kanla
Okay,
kafalı
well,
yeri
how
belki.
about this? How do we know Freya was stabbed before she fell over?
Doğru.
Maybe her being stabbed and her falling over are completely unrelated.
Doğru, olabilir. Bir karakterin var, her yerden yaratık geliyor, otomatik saldırı yaparak hepsini öldürüyorsun. Ha, hiç benlik bir oyun değilmiş. Şey gibi, neydi o oyunun adı ya? Hades miydi? O tarz mı? Roguelike oyun türü gibi mi? Onda da öyle bir şeyler vardı sanki. Sırtından vurulmuş olabilir. Gerçekten yere düşmüş. Flora'nın kulesinden gelen melodi sesi hakkında hiçbir fikrim yok nasıl bulabileceğimize dair ya. Yani bir tek bu var. Müzik çalan. Bunda da hiçbir şey yok. Seninle de konuşamıyoruz hiçbir şey. Bunu biraz daha bırakacağım ya. Başka ne diyor? Bir tek bu mu var şu an? Şaka yapıyorsun. Sevebilecek birine vermen daha iyi ya. Hiç benlik bir oyun türü değil. Çok teşekkür ederim tekrardan. Dışıma yeter dediğim gibi. Kasetleri ama diğerlerinde böyle çok azıcık duymaları bile yetti. Baştan sona da dinleyelim. Olur da ikincisini baştan sona dinlemek beni çok korkutuyor. Ya uzun bir süre de dinledik ikisini de yani.
It's piano music.
Tamam, bunu okeyiz. Açıp kulaklığı çıkaracağım. Tersten mi dinlesek acaba ikinci kaseti? Belki bir şey demek istiyordur bize. Subliminal bir mesaj vardır belki içinde. Bu da cızırtılı ses. O hiç bilmiyorum ki. Oluyor, tersten dinleyebiliyorsun da. Korkunç ya. Çıkardım ben kulaklığı, korkuyorum biraz. Bir tık korkutuyor beni gençler. Tadım kaçıyor. Gerçekten tüylerim diken diken oluyor. Bu arada böyle şey oluyorum. Ürperiyorum. Aa, oldu gerçekten.
It's someone humming a tune.
Bu korkunç, Allah kahretmesin. Tamam. Tamam, lütfen sus, lütfen sus, lütfen sus.
That's all formalities, I think.
Çok korkunç, çok
So, what do we do
korkunç.
with them?
Should we go back to the garden?
Git, şimdi, hemen git. Hızlı git ama YouTube için burası son olacak. Bakalım neler varmış. Heykelden sonra nereye gideceğiz? Bir sonraki bölümde öğrenebileceksiniz bunları. Hala kanala abone değilseniz abone olup videoyu beğenip aşağı yorum bırakmayı lütfen unutmayın. Bakalım heykelde neler varmış. Bir sonraki bölümde görüşmek üzere. Sizleri çok seviyorum. Kendinize çok iyi bakın. Bye!